You're listening to the Spark Your Light podcast, where my mission is to help you create a life that sparks the light inside of you. And this is episode 296, How to Begin with the End in Mind. This episode is inspired by Stephen Covey's famous quote from The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People: begin with the end in mind. It is fantastic advice for pursuing any goal, but I know as a real person outside of reading the books and understanding these concepts, but as an individual applying these concepts or trying to apply them to my life as I pursue goals in various areas of my life, it can be really challenging to sometimes actually take these big ideas and put them into your daily life. So begin with the end in mind is a beautiful idea, but sometimes it's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day. The fire drills that you're constantly putting out, or whatever big thing is taking up your energy and attention, but it may not necessarily be the most important thing when you look at your vision. And so recently I went through a little process that helped me focus on my vision, and I've been able to stay connected to that vision for days and weeks and probably a couple of months actually since I first went through this process. And it's profoundly helped me, and it's simple and it's easy and it doesn't take a lot of time. So for all of those reasons, I knew I had to share it here on the podcast. So it's a super simple process. The first thing you want to do is you want to write your future bio. Now, there's no timeline on this. So for me, I just wrote where I want to be, genuinely. And obviously this applies to career, but you could even write a paragraph that's just how you describe your life, even if it's not related to career. It could be just kind of a day in your life and write about what it looks like. You can really apply this to anything. But for me, I specifically applied it to my career goals. So I wrote my bio as if I were being introduced on a stage at an event to speak at. So I went big with my bio. I recommend that you write what you actually want. I think it's easy to talk ourselves out of what we truly want because it seems out of reach or unrealistic. But for this exercise to really support you, if this is the direction you actually want to go in for your life, then write that down. Write it down. Don't worry about what year it is or how much time has gone by. Just write where you want to be, but write it in present tense. So it's like, Jacqueline is the author of the New York Times bestselling book, Get Your Hopes Up, which was chosen as Oprah's Book of the Year in 2032. That's one of the lines from my bio. And I picked the year arbitrarily. Does it have to be 2032? No, I'm actually working on the book right now. So it doesn't really correlate with the timeline, but it doesn't matter. It's just the concept of, okay, I see this. And I think I picked that year intentionally so that I didn't feel pressure, because sometimes when you write down your goals and they feel very short term, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and then give up because it feels so far, almost impossible, that you don't take any action at all. So I wanted my bio to feel expansive, like I have a decade or two to accomplish it. And so many of these things that I wrote down are things that I don't feel like I have to do this year or next year, but they're parts of my vision. So that's step one. Just write down that future bio. Get it to a place where when you read it, you feel kind of giddy. You're like, yes, oh my gosh, if I could actually make this my life, it would be a dream come true. That's how I want you to feel when you read back this bio. And then the second step to this process is to read the bio every morning. Just read it. You don't have to rewrite it or anything. Just pull it up, and for ease of accessing it consistently, I have it in a note on my phone. I do everything in notes. I think it's the easiest place because you can just search something and it pops up and it's on your phone. And you can do it from your computer if you have a MacBook as well. So I just love notes. But however you want to do it, you could have it printed out. You could put it on your fridge, and every time you open the fridge in the morning to get out the milk for your coffee, you read it out loud to yourself or read it in your head. It doesn't matter. The point is that you read it every day. And this helps you begin with the end in mind, because when you set your goals for the day, when you set intentions or plans or make a to-do list, you have this vision in mind. And the key here is to ask yourself, are these things that I'm planning on spending my time on today moving me closer to my vision? Yes or no? And over the past couple months since I started following this process, I have found multiple times where I thought, you know what? No, these things aren't moving me closer. And this thing that I thought was important probably isn't that important right now. So I'm going to just put this in a later category. And it's not to say you'll never do those things or they'll never become important. They might become important for one reason or another. But are they important right now? And it also helps you focus on long-term action. So long-term action are the action steps that you take in the daily that are not paying off in the short term. So those are the most difficult for us to take because we don't see the results. We don't get that high of, oh, wow, this thing led to that thing. And so because of that, it's hard to stay committed for something that we just think we will achieve or benefit from in the far off future. That feels really ungratifying for people. But when you read back your bio and you feel so connected to this vision, you're more willing to do those things. Normally, without that, people tend to focus much more on short-term, quick hits. Let me do this thing so I can get that thing in the next day, week, month, year, versus let me do this thing so it pays off in 10 years and 20 years. So it helps you do a combination of both, right? If we only did the long-term actions, then we might have a really difficult time in the short term just thriving and being able to care for ourselves and basic needs, right? I mean, if I only did long-term things, I would not be able to pay my bills. So I have to do short-term things too. And it doesn't mean they're bad or wrong. It doesn't mean that they don't also support the vision. But we have to find that balance of those activities that we spend our time on. And one great way to do that is by going through that question. Is this moving me closer? Yes or no? And making sure that at least one thing per day, promise me this, at least one thing per day is in line with your vision. And my best advice is to do that thing first thing. And the reason is because things will always come up in your day. And if you're anything like me, you have the most unrealistic ideas about what you can accomplish. I'm still working on that, like, here's what I think I can get done in an hour and having that be accurate. I'm really bad at that. So I don't know what it is, some sort of superhuman confidence about my productivity levels, which has never been backed by any facts. Not that I'm not productive, but just like it is clearly impossible to do. This morning, for example, before I came here to record my podcasts, I had maybe an hour where I could actually do something where I had my mom watching my son. And then I had another 30 minutes where I was taking care of my son. And also, sometimes you can let's say he's playing in the living room and then I have all the laundry in the living room, then I can fold it while he's playing, that kind of thing. Multitasking, you might call it. In just an hour and a half of it, 30 minutes of it at least, was not full undivided. I thought that I was going to shower, get ready, pack all my clothes, do all the laundry, finish going through all my son's clothes for the next size because he's constantly, how babies are constantly growing out of the size and into the next one. So I have clothes all over the floor in the bedroom. I thought I was going to cut up his lunch for my mother-in-law to make it easier for her to feed him, which of course I didn't get to. What else did I think I was going to do? Oh, make chicken cutlets for dinner tonight. We're having chicken cutlets, Caesar wraps. I make my own homemade Caesar dressing. It is so good. Send me a message on Instagram if you want the recipe. It's not mine. It's just from a blog, but it's delicious. And it doesn't have raw eggs in it because that was the thing I was very weird about. And it uses mayonnaise instead. So anyways, I thought I was going to prep the dinner. Literally anyone listening knows that's more than possible in the time frame. But that's just what my brain likes to do sometimes. So I have to adjust. And the point here is that now I have all of those things still to do, pretty much. The only thing I actually accomplished 100% and finished was getting myself ready. I folded the laundry. It did not make its way into the drawers yet. So it's just all over the couch. And my mother-in-law's babysitting. There's laundry everywhere. She can't walk in Michael's bedroom because there's clothes all over the floor. That is the reality of being a working mom and also just life. And it's okay. And I can totally adjust. But there's a point to this, which is my one thing right now that I am doing every single day towards my long-term vision is I am working on my book. And when do I work on it? Up until today, I was working on it for 45 minutes a day in my morning. I actually decided today when I was evaluating my progress from last week, based on my goals, did I make as much progress as I wanted to? The answer was no. And so I decided that I could up the time commitment to 60 minutes in the morning, which is what I'm starting tomorrow. But what I love about this entire story is that even though I didn't make the dinner and the laundry's everywhere and I didn't get to cut up the lunch for my mother-in-law, and she'll be just fine. She said she can cut it up, thankfully. I worked on my book already. I did it first thing in the morning. So there's really something about taking that list that you make and putting your one thing towards that vision first and doing it before there's any distraction. So I get up before the rest of my family, always, every day, even on weekends. And it's my me time. And I honestly couldn't go without it anymore. I love it. And I work. You're like, how is your work your me time? But it really is. It's my work me time. And I always get so much done. And it's so great when it's before the emails of the world start too, because now I checked my phone when I pulled up at the studio, just a glance at my email. Now I have 4 emails I have to answer, right? And all great things that are going on, right? Different speaking engagements and clients and things, conversations I'm having, but now I have to go home and answer 4 emails. So at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., nobody's emailing me. So I think that that's really a valuable piece. I also want to note, though, I don't think everyone has to be a morning person. I think it's such BS of if you want to be successful, get up at 5 and follow these 7 steps. And you don't have to do that. If you want to be successful, you need a very strong vision that you are relentlessly committed to do and willing to do whatever it takes, no matter how many times you fail. Pivot, be willing to be flexible, and be all in. If you're all in, it doesn't matter if you're all in at 5 a.m. or at 9 p.m. My husband, Richie, is much more of an evening person. And last night, we actually stayed up till 11 working, which is very unlike me because then my morning time, I didn't wake up till 6:15 because I was tired. But he's a night owl and he is not interested in getting up at 5. And he wants to work at 9 p.m. That's his like spark creative time. 99% of the time, unless I'm really sparked by something, which I was last night, which is why we were up so late. After Michael goes to bed, I'm just like, okay, it's my time to chill out and go to bed myself. Maybe take a shower, unwind a little. So everyone's different. There's no right way. It's the way that works for you. The point is that you go back to your vision every day and do something towards it. Let me know how it goes. I would love to hear. What is your vision? Send me your future bio. I feel like so many of you hear it and you hear me telling you to, send me this or tell me this. And I know you're listening because I see our stats on how many listeners we have. Yet I don't even know what a lot of your goals are. So I would love to see your bio, root for you. Also, sharing your dreams with others is really powerful because you never know who can help you, who they know, what introductions they might be able to make for you. Like if somebody sends me their bio and, they have a dream of X, Y, or Z, and I'm like, I know someone who can really help you, I'll introduce you, So just put your dreams out there. You never know. So I want to hear about your future bios. Send them my way. Sending you guys so much love. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode, and I will catch you next week.